Even with Fat Ass 45 being sick with the COVID-19, he isn't going to change his tune anytime soon. After months of falsely comparing the coronavirus to the flu and downplaying its danger and floating rules intended to limit its spread, Fat Ass 45 insisted that he finally understands the pandemic now, which he doesn't, and that doctors are aggressively treating him for COVID-19. He claims he learned a lot about COVID, but he didn't. This is what Fat Ass 45 said in the video recorded Sunday from his hospital suite. I learned it by going to school. But technically you're a fucking failure in school, so you don't get it, and you don't understand it. There's no evidence that he actually does. There's no evidence that he actually understands this at all. Instead, the 74-year-old fat ass boasted that he feels better than he did 20 years ago, which he doesn't, as he tweeted his planned departure on Monday evening from the Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, where he had been hospitalized since Friday. Um, Basically, he tweeted out, "Don't be afraid of COVID yet." To the 210,000 fucking people that died under your watch, fat ass. Even as Fat Ass 45 tried to turn the tale of his illness into a parable about his personal strength and dedication to the country, which he has no strength for the country and dedication, he said nothing. He said nothing about the 210,000 Americans who have died of COVID-19 since last spring, and the 7.4 million affected so far, and that includes the additional 100,000 that tested since Friday. Nor did Fat Ass 45 express sympathy for the dozen or more senior advisors, campaign officials, and Republican lawmakers who have contracted the virus since last week, when the White House became the latest hotspot for the disease. Although he's still contagious, Fat Ass 45 gave no hint how long he will remain in isolation at the White House to avoid spreading the virus. Nor did he acknowledge his experience with COVID-19, which has been unique. And he was airlifted to one of the nation's best hospitals and treated with experimental drugs that are not available to the public, and a team of doctors in a 24-hour callback at the White House. He remains uncommitted to wearing a mask. He wore one for the helicopter flight home on Monday, but he took it off as soon as he arrived at the White House, even though his staff has been struggling to stave off infections. Olivia Troy, who was a former aide to the White House's coronavirus task force, who has become a sharp critic of the Fat Ass, said that Fat Ass 45's attitude only increases the danger for other Americans. "My greatest fear is that he would use this as an opportunity to continue downplaying the severity of this virus," she said, and we're seeing that play out. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who's a Democrat from San Francisco, told MSNBC that she hoped that Fat Ass 45 would treat his hospitalization as a learning experience and a transition to a saner approach to the pandemic, but Fat Ass 45 doesn't do learning experiences. Since taking office, he has not changed his behavior despite tectonic personal and political events, impeachment, natural disaster, domestic terrorism, economic recession, deadly pandemic. Not even contracting a potentially deadly disease appears to have chastened him or made him even more concerned about the health of others. Shortly after recording his video claiming he learned a lot about the virus, the infectious squatter climbed into a sealed armored SUV with Secret Service agents covered in protective gear so that he could wave at his inbred trailer park welfare collecting supporters outside the hospital. Before falling ill, Fat Ass 45 ignored federal guidelines on wearing masks and social distancing. He urged his inbred trailer park welfare collecting supporters and staff to follow his lead, and even mocked those who insisted on taking precautions. He does not appear to be any more cautious now than he was before, which he wasn't really before anyway, but yeah. With election day a month away, he's eager to return to the campaign trail in hopes of salvaging a re-election bid that may hang on whether voters believe he has adequately protected the country in a pandemic when he could not protect his own White House. He says, "I think I'll be back soon," which he won't. I look forward to, he basically says, "Oh, I look forward to finishing up the campaign the way it was, the way it started and the way we've been doing. The kind of numbers that we've been doing, yeah, the numbers like 210,000 fucking dead. You think people are going to really elect your fat ass because of that? Nope." Public health experts have said it's exactly those kind of events, packing dozens of supporters together, mostly without masks and sometimes even indoors, that could spread the virus. Jeffrey Levi, a George Washington University public health professor, said that Fat Ass 45's triumphant tone about leaving the hospital was incredibly irresponsible and a dangerous message. No one should want this disease. No one should treat this disease lightly," Levi said. Badass 45 is undermining the public's confidence in each of the steps that we should be taking to protect ourselves, so we don't have to go through what we went through, or to go through what he went through. Jason Miller, a fat fuck, told CNN on Sunday that Fat Ass 45 had asked him to tell people to be careful. I doubt that. Basically, Miller's dumbass says to go on to wash your hands, use hand sanitizer, but we can't social distance, wear a mask. That's shit that Fat Ass 45 would never say. None of that advice came directly from the Fat Ass. On Monday, he tweeted campaign messages and media criticism, but nothing about public health guidance. Fat Ass 45's campaign went so far as to portray Fat Ass 45's ability to get hospitalized with COVID-19 as a plus in his race against former Vice President Joe Biden. He has experience as a commander-in-chief, but he doesn't. He has experience as a businessman, yeah, failure. He has experience now fighting the coronavirus as an individual. Fat Ass 45's experience with COVID-19, of course, was not typical. He was tested regularly at the White House, and when his condition worsened on Friday, he was given oxygen and then helicoptered to Walter Reed. It's an extreme form of the privilege that has surrounded Fat Ass 45 his entire life. If you spend 74 years in that dynamic, you're not going to know how to change. You're not going to be inclined to change, said Michael D'Antonio, who wrote a critical biography of Fat Ass 45. And the person is writing another book about his impeachment. No matter how much other people suffer, once Fat Ass 45 is back at the White House, he could be contagious for up to 10 days, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Medical experts said staff who serve him and the residents probably will need protective gear if he goes to the Oval Office. He risks shedding the virus in the West Wing, where White House staff work in cramped offices, and only a few wear masks until recently. He could only be the executive producer of this reality shit show that is his life. He said that D'Antonio said, and now all the extras are getting sick. So if you like the video, give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, Ryan Van Wyk, and also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out. And thanks for listening.